Hi, my name is Olivia, and this is a nutshell of my mental health story and my journey towards recovery. It all started when I was around 6 years old. I developed issues with food and body image. I was a gymnast and my coach put me on a diet at the age of 6 years old. Going forward to the age of 13 is when I started to self-harm. My dad was an alcoholic and my parents would always argue. Fast forward into the age of 16, I developed full-blown anorexia. I had problems with food, as I said, from the age of 6, but it developed into an eating disorder at the age of 16. By that time, my parents had split up and I had to move away with my mum. At the age of 17, I found out that my granddad had Huntington's disease, which is a genetic disorder. Very soon after that, my mum started to develop symptoms around her late 40s. And she showed signs of aggression and she unfortunately kicked me out at the age of 17. By that time, my mental health declined rapidly. I wasn't in a stable home. I moved from my uncles to shared accommodation to my nan's. At the age of 19, I took my first suicide attempt and was then clinically diagnosed with depression and anxiety. After my first suicide attempt, I was referred to the youth service. Still rapidly declining, I went on a girls' holiday and was on medication that I came off very suddenly whilst drinking on holiday, and my mental health completely declined. It was June 2015, and by July 2015 I was admitted to an inpatient unit. In that admission I was diagnosed with borderline personality disorder. I've always been a perfectionist and I've always wanted to do well. Even when my mental health was in crisis, I would still want to be the best version of myself. I wanted to make a difference even in my worst state of mind when I couldn't look after myself. I applied to do a healthcare practitioner course in September 2015, and even though my mental health was in crisis, I managed to complete it in an inpatient unit doing my dissertation in hospital. I pushed myself through that course and I was so happy that they let me stay. I then applied to do adult nursing in the year September of 2016, but was not mentally prepared. I was a frequent flyer in hospitals, really unstable, and I just felt like it was never going to get better. Even though I kept trying to do my nursing, I just had to take breaks in my study. In 2019, I had to withdraw from the course because I couldn't take any more breaks. Before I took my last break, something traumatic happened to me, and that induced a psychotic episode due to stress and trauma, which landed me in a private hospital on 1-to-1 for 2 months, by which point, again, my eating disorder had rapidly declined and I was very, very poorly and out of control. I didn't want to be the patient. I wanted to be the person that helped other people. I desperately wanted to make a difference, but I just didn't know how to help myself. I decided to concentrate on my mental health in 2019, and I stopped work and education and thought I will finally accept DBT and just see where it takes me. Just decided that I was so done with living this way that I needed to make a change. So I put my all into it and started my DBT treatment. Into my first section of the DBT therapy, completing the face-to-face groups, and then sadly coronavirus happened and then we went into the lockdown. So obviously that was a very difficult time and I really managed it well. Considering the circumstances, my DBT was a bit jumbled. It's supposed to be a year long and I started it in the year of 2019 and it's now 2021 and I'm finishing it with adults. I have adapted myself to what has happened with coronavirus, and with DBT being online now and everything being a bit jumbled up, I feel like I've coped with it really well and I'm really surprised at how much I've accomplished in the space of a year. In recovery, I learned ways of dealing with my emotions and distress tolerance, emotional regulation. All these skills that I've learned, I want to show other service users. I've had so many reasons to relapse in the past year, with my mum declining with Huntington's, my granddad passing away, all sorts of things happening in the pipeline, and I've coped with it and I have used my DBT skills and managed it. And now I want to show that to other service users. I want to show them strategies that I've learned and the tools that I've got, because I believe that that can keep you stable for the rest of your life if you've got the right tools. I've done all different things in my recovery to help keep me going, such as creating scrapbooks. I made a scrapbook of my recovery journey and lots of different things in it, and I can look at it every single time I'm feeling down. As well as taking the inpatient admissions as a learning curve, and I've created all self-help workbooks that I've gathered through inpatient admissions that have really helped me. Also, back in 2016, I created an Instagram account on my recovery to inspire others, sharing my highs and my lows and all in between, and have helped lots of people online. And now I want to do it in real life. Because of all my progress in DBT, I got an additional 6 months with adult services. I've also been part of a participation group within the youth service to improve the quality of the service. I have been helping make letters, assessment cards. I've been in Zoom calls with professionals to share my story. None of these opportunities would have been available for me if I didn't choose recovery. Everyone's journey is different and everyone's story is different, but there's the same principles of recovery, and everyone can put their own perspective on it. I believe I bring a valuable perspective and personal perspective. So here I am today, wanting to make a difference and wanting to help others. Thank you.